sound good?
We sound so good.
We sound so good.
I feel like we sound better than ever.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, we always sound better than the day before. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Frequency Broads with your hosts, me and Victoria. I'm like, what is this, the YMCA?
But of love.
Love and Victoria. Love and Victoria. I'm like, T. Little T. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Dude, we've been wanting to talk about this topic for years. Ages. New ages. Old ages. This age. That age. As the microdose starts to kick in.
We're like, da, 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 da. It really is. It's like a fucking taking us for a ride today. Should we do a little quick freak check before you even tell them what we're talking about today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Lordy.
Tara and I have both been getting orca symbolism, either in our dreams, in the shower, in our meditations. So just want to make note of that. Orcas are coming through very strong. What's weighing heavily on my heart and mind is my very anxious attachment and my person's very avoidant attachment, and how I'm so grateful to be the anxious one because it allows me to be the deep feeler and the one to really be present, like too present almost. And I've been sitting with, because it's kind of like deemed a bad thing. Yeah, because it feels like shit to be anxious when you're in a loving relationship, but also rather be in these shoes than running away from the feelings or so I'm here, I'm present. I think the other thing that comes with being anxious is there's a lot of past and forward thinking, and it's not so present. So in order to really, survive and sink back into the loving frequency I want to be in, I've just been focusing my presence in the present. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm the anxious, he's the avoidant. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. But that's why I just remind myself to check my reality, because you are in past or future.
Right. In the past, when you have been an avoidant, hasn't it felt like you just don't really give a shit? Like in my cases, like it has been that I just wasn't really that into the person. And as soon as I realized that I was being avoidant, I broke it off because I knew it wasn't fair. But I feel like in the case of our dudes, they're just like straight up textbook avoidant. And that does not mean that they want to break it off. It just means they need to be in their feels.
Yeah. And isn't it hard? Because we know that, same. If I was ever avoidant, it was because I didn't give a fuck. There was no attachment.
Yeah.
It was just avoidant because, like, well, I want to avoid you. I don't want to be around you.
Right.
And it is hard to, like, not internalize someone else's avoidant attachment as disinterest. Because it's not. It's the anxious part. It's the attachment part. They're still anxious. They just use avoidant behaviors to deal with that.
You still love me, right? Tell me you love me.
Oh, God. Every day of my life. I'm like,
I love you.
You still love me, right? Every day I walk in and I'm like, did you see me today? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so I'm cute, right? It's like, yes, you're cute every day. I'm like, you have to tell me every day. Multiple times a day. I'm like, you see, I'll do like a twirl. I'm like, you see this outfit? You see him looking cute? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to go change into sweats. We all agreed. I was cute. I did the thing. I heard it. We're good.
He probably thinks you're cuter in the sweats, though.
He does. He loves me in my little green suit, which is just my giant green sweatshirt.
It's so New York mob. I love it.
Literally, though.
Yeah. Give me your freak check, baby.
Freak check for me. Yeah. Orcas for real, which make me think like, what's happening? Because that's wisdom. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also new forms of communication and understanding languages of others that we haven't in the past been able to communicate with.
Or even just the language of frequency, because that's what they share. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about this. I saw this video the other day talking about people who were snorkeling or something, and the whales were calling to each other. And it was because you're in the water, and then the water's physically vibrating on you, and it's vibrating all the water within you. And people were having to like rush to the surface because almost instantaneously they were sobbing and they needed air because it was shaking up everything inside them.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We should send our boyfriends underwater for orca sonar
just drown
healing.
real quick. Just drown for like 2 seconds.
The solution for avoidance.
But I guess another thing that I've been thinking about, which isn't very deeply rooted or anything, but just the thought of this is the first time that we're like really recording in advance.
Yeah.
We're usually about a week, maybe a week and a half ahead of when it publishes, which puts us on like a quick timeline to get everything together, edited, ready to go. We're about like a month recording prior. So I'm really interested to see how these things resonate, because I know the first episode, I think we talked about like solar flares, and that was so big. But by the time that comes out, I'm like, I'm interested to see how the collective kind of processes the things. Or maybe it's because we're able to communicate and like share insights while it's actively happening, and people need it after it's integrated a little bit for reflection. So that's really kind of been on my mind on the drive here, is like,
Yeah, it is better to get a little bit of a perspective after the fact, because kind of like going and seeking opinions when you're going through something, I think it's so important that you sit with it first. I'm speaking to my own strategy for making decisions, but similar, right? Like I love delayed perspective, integrated perspective.
Yes. And I think that's similar, just to jump back to your freak check, that anxious avoidant. You said like, we tend to live in the future or the past, right? Well, time ain't linear, baby. So if you're living in the future of them disappointing you, then that's your current reality. If you're living in the past of how they used to behave, or those in the past behaved for you, that's how they're going to behave right now, because that's the reality you're creating. So it's all happening at once. So I'm interested to see how we are tapping into this nonlinear timeline for when people are actually listening.
Same.
All right. Freak check. Are you ready to talk about our topic today?
Did we just both put our legs up at the same time? We mean business.
Shoes off business. I'm like, hold on, is this a foot podcast or what?
Not yet.
God, now I'm just picturing us like in a full squat with the feet on the table. Like, so.
Anyone really into blisters on my tiny toe?
Episode 1, I'm not going to go too deep, but I have ringworm. Episode whatever. Look at my blister. It's going to pop soon.
You know, I'm just giving you all the full human experience, even though we're all superhumans. It's important to realize like the very humanistic 3D shit we get to experience. Like fungal infections.
Or today's topic, cults. I don't know how fucking song that is. Cults. Whether you've been in one that was deemed a cult, whether it was spiritual or religious or what have you, we have all experienced cult-like behavior and cult-like influences. And I am really excited to talk about that today.
Shit, wait. I wrote in my phone.
Get it?
The definition of a cult.
Oh, I love my little Google. My
BRB.
What is it?
I'm Voogle.
I'm like, what the fuck? Why does the word democracy? No. Oh, it's because I'm teaching. No, it's because I'm fucking teaching history now for 6th grade. Fucking, oh my God. Dictionary. That's the word I'm looking for. My little dictionary. Tell us what's the definition of cult.
The word cult is defined as a system or group of people who practice excessive devotion. I love that, excessive devotion to a figure, object, or belief system, typically following a charismatic leader. The term is commonly connected with highly unorthodox religious sects that take part in sinister practices and demonstrations.
Okay.
U.S. government, anyone?
Well, that's what I was just going to say, because it says follows or like devotes themselves to a deity, an object, a belief system. So we can sit here and rattle off all the really famous cults, but you could also go on Netflix and just look up a documentary. And there's plenty of podcasts out there that's going to go deeply into the history and maybe even talk to people who have survived these cults. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the concept of it as a whole and how easily it is to get sucked right into something that doesn't have a church and a deity and the answers, but something that you feel, that mom mentality that is going to bring you peace, security, enrichment, involvement, community.
We all want to be part of something. And at the same time of wanting to be part of something, the common theme that, you know, in reflecting on all the common cults I know of, it's the quest for power. And it might be you giving your power away to the charismatic leader, or it's your quest to find your own power. And in that case, it's essentially sovereignty.
For me, my thought was looking for answers. And that answers could be finding power, because you feel powerful when you know the answer. So you're looking for answers to... Okay, little fly, get out of here.
I know exactly. Know if it's a little fly, a little fairy, a little like, who knows what.
No, that was a fly. Sorry, fairies. I know you're here too. But it's the concept of you looking for something externally, answers, power, community. And when we feel so disconnected from ourselves and the ability for us to give that to ourselves, we strive for others to feed us those answers, right? So it could be, I don't know what's going to happen in the afterlife. I need to make sure I go to the good place, you know, so I'm going to follow this cult leader that says if I do X, Y, Z, I'll get into heaven. It could be, I need to feel security and safety, and I need that externally. So I'm going to look at capitalism to teach me how to have those things and where to buy and where to spend and how to get that security, safety, and happiness through materialistic items. It could be government. It could be things on social media, right? Communities in social media, even something that can seem as innocent as like book talk. Right? Where everyone's like, oh, well, we're all reading this book and then we're all feeling the same way about it. And we all have to have the same opinion, or the whole organization looks at you differently and outcasts you. These are things that we are constantly being pulled and swayed in different direction for someone or something to gain power, whether that's government, capitalism, that person who's running the cult. And it's dangerous. It could be really dangerous to give away all your power and not find the sovereignty inside yourself. So it's really important to look for those key red flags.
I love that. You know, from an energetic perspective, it really comes down to the idea of where you focus your thought and your intention, and you're giving your energy to something, and then that enhances and gives it strength. It gives it legs. It gives it what it needs to carry on and like suck up more people, and it's like plight to be bigger and stronger. And I don't know about you, but I think at this point in my spiritual journey, like I'm so far past looking for answers. Like I don't feel like I'm in that seeker mode. And I do totally honor anyone who's in seeker mode, because it leads you to where you want to go or need to go. And I love that phase, and I want to honor that phase. But the phase that I'm currently in is that I'll know when I need to know. And it feels so good. And, you know, trust has always been my struggle. And I feel like that's like one of the easiest ways that I have found to just trust the process. And yeah.
I think I'm right there with you. I think looking for answers is an important stage in your spiritual journey, because sometimes that answer is just getting to know yourself. Who am I? What do I need? What are my boundaries? What are the things I'm ready to let go of, right? Those are all looking for answers. And there's still parts of us that are looking for that in the day-to-day, right? Like, should I go here or do that? Should I stay with this person or not? Should I leave my job or not? And I don't think it's a bad thing. But when we're looking externally consistently is where we get tripped up. And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who have your best intention. You can work with spiritual leaders who have your best intention, and you are the one who is giving away the power and saying, well, now I got to go see this one, and now I got to go see that one, and now I got to go do this, and I have to do that because I need answers to this, and doing the answers to that. Where really those partnerships you create in the spiritual community are supposed to help you figure yourself out. Help you go within yourself to do the work. No one's ever, ever, ever going to be able to do that for you. And that's where these more spiritual or religious cults really hold their anchor down in, is that one person or that higher part of the group has the answers. And only they can give you the answers. And only they can lead you. And only they can heal you. No.
I know, that's some bullshit.
It's like full on, like 100% bullshit. Even as someone who's a healer themselves, I know for a fact that I cannot heal anyone. My job is to create a field of energy for you to consciously choose to tap into, so the healing work can be done, right? The love energy or the release energy, whatever it is that we're working on. I can't do that for you. That's like going to a doctor and being like, I'm sick. And they're like, okay, great. Here's this prescription. And you're like, okay, I'm done. And it's like, no, bitch, you still have to choose to wake up and take the prescription with food or whatever, doing it properly and daily. So when these higher cult leaders or spiritual leaders tell you, you have to follow this recipe, I will give you the answers, this is the only way, those are key red flags. No one knows what is best for you besides you. Period. End of story. Because we're all on a separate journey. And you need to hit those points when it's right for you. So no one else can fucking tell you shit.
How do you think one makes the switch from seeking externally to seeking internally?
In my experience, for myself and for those around me, I've noticed it requires a little bit of a shakeup from somebody. It requires someone going, no, you need to find the answer. You need to stop. Because everyone out here, spiritual or not, we talk about it all the time. Your energy, your money, your time, that's currency. So there are plenty of people out there that are going to use you for that currency. And when you start that circuit, that's the circuit you get fed in. That's the one you're used to. It takes someone turning around and being like, what the fuck are you doing?
And it never really is the way you want it to be or think it's going to be. And I was reflecting on that this morning because, the people closest to me who have viewed me as this spiritual teacher, healer person in their lives, while... Oh, that's you scratching.
Sorry,
I was like, Steve-O's here.
My leg was itchy.
That flash of light. Okay, no, it was not a flashlight. It was just that. No, I was FaceTiming with Rachel yesterday, and there was a crazy flash of light behind me because the window was behind me, and it literally felt like a total dimension shift. And she saw it too. I was like, yeah, just another day in the life. But going back to the people in my life who view me as the spiritual healer, they think I'm already healed. So I'm not going to come at them with these very real things that I need to still work on or heal or address, and we both trigger each other, whatever the case may be. But the people that think that I am going to act a certain way and that's going to be the way that I'm teaching them, but really how I'm showing up as I am is exactly the medicine you probably need. And so accept it or not. And if not, then like, don't hold any animosity or hold it against me that I'm not this like spiritual teacher from the perception that you want me to be, because maybe me just being the way I am is your spiritual lesson. Not to name names.
And it's their loss.
It is. But also, can they even receive?
No. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because you might be, and that person saying, what the fuck are you doing? Start looking within yourself. You know, and it doesn't need to be that harsh. I've said it. I've had even clients come to me and they're like, great, when do we work together again? And I'm like, that's not my choice. And then I thought back to all of these spiritual teachers and leaders that I have been with, and their intentions, I feel and I know, have been to help and guide me. And within that, they get in this modality of, okay, great, now you're ready for the next step. Okay, come work with me on this. Okay, great. So after you finish this program, we're going to start working this one, because they want to help us. It's the same way that I am. I have the answers to the test. Why am I not going to fucking give it to you to study? That makes no sense. Why would I not make your life easier?
Yeah.
But what they were doing was taking it away from my own journey and making me chase this enlightenment, always feeling the need to do more, improve more, involve more. And then I wasn't being present. And I wasn't following what my heart and what my soul was asking for. I was following what this person that was more enlightened than me said I need to do. And it took a while for me to start saying, actually, I really appreciate it. Please don't take it personally. I'm not going to do this next program. And I'll tell you, there have been some teachers that's like, well, then you're not doing the work. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, red flag cult. Because if I'm not ready to do it, even if I'm not doing the work, even if it's the work that I'm being called to do and I choose not to do it, then it's not the right time to do it. Period. End of story. So when those teachers have come to me and been like, all right, well, I'm just letting you know that you're gonna be behind. I'm like, behind on fucking what? I'm in 700 lifetimes right now at the same time. I'm not behind.
And what a way to not honor your need to integrate.
Yeah. And then I have had spiritual teachers that I am still with where I get to turn around and say, you know what? I'm just not being called to do this right now. And they say, great. I'll try to check in with you in a while and see if there's anything that you know, I'll let you know if I have anything else going on that I can offer you. Not in a pushy way, not I need your money way, but like a, hey, I see you're on this journey. If anything comes up I think you might be interested in, I'll let you know.
Much love for the people who operate that way.
Kari, go check it out. But it is really challenging because I do think that there are people in the spiritual community that do have your best interest, but are leading this cult mindset of, well, we need to do it this way and we need to follow this recipe because you did course 1, you have to do course 2 in order to get to course 3. And it's like, that's not how energetics work.
And this is why for like the last year and a half, I've been talking about how I'm so disgusted by spirituality today. And I'm so glad we have this podcast to voice this and bring light to just like how people are kind of being sold pipe dreams.
Yes.
And for me, I look at it, I'm seeking inspiration or symbols or just those serendipitous things that like give me the goosebumps and make me feel alive. Like I'm not seeking for answers because I know the answers are already within me. So why am I looking outside? Like it's the signs, symbols, and synchronicities that do it for me.
I think what's important to look for if we're looking at the religious or spiritual aspects of cults, because capitalism is a cult, social media is a cult. There's many forms of cults out there, but what I look for, and I think it's a healthy way to look for, is someone who's going to teach me the tools, not give me the answers. You know, like Kari, she is way above where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
She is running the quantums like I do not even fucking understand, but she makes me feel like I'm her equal.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are. Just
Yeah.
because her skill and her magic and her ability may be different or quote unquote more advanced than me, that does not mean that she's better than me. And that's what takes her down from being that cult leader. Because she's not better than I am.
Yeah.
I don't need to prove myself to her or other spiritual people that I've worked with. They give me the tools and say, now go about your life and figure it out.
I love Kari's story so much, and I love hearing other spiritual teachers who were like corporate CEOs or lawyers or real estate agents, and then just like all of a sudden one day, all of this information, just their channels opened up, and then poof, they're working in these crazy, beautiful quantum realms that are helping everyone collectively anchor into just a new way of going about this earthly experience. But obviously, we were born into this. We were kind of deep in it.
Yeah.
From the beginning. And
from the get-go.
Yeah. And then many, many lifetimes ago. And so I think it just goes to show that you could be at any stage in your spiritual journey and then just poof, have the awakening and to have the tools to know how to integrate and sit with the very, it's like, I wouldn't even want to say dense. It's almost the opposite of density. Like it's kind of the polarity of the density of the energy, but then at the same time, the void and it's overwhelming to our nervous systems, and it takes a lot of time to integrate. But I think that when you practice with these tools, it becomes a whole lot easier, and it happens effortlessly, and you don't have to like spend weeks or days in bed. However, some of us still need that time.
Not always. Sometimes you hit that like last barrier before the next step where you're like, oh, fuck, that was hard work. Now I need to lay in bed forever. And I think, too, it's about recognizing that, when I was sitting on this morning, I was thinking about, okay, what do people need to hear about cults? The card I pulled was The Great Gathering, about soul tribes. And I think that's what we're looking for. When we look for these communities, we're looking for our soul tribe. And that can come in many different forms. You could be looking to deepen your spirituality and your understanding of the universe. And your soul tribe could be your coworker and your best friend who are not spiritual at all. It's those people that allow you to live authentically. That is your soul tribe. Those people that in your authenticity may trigger you to work through anything else because you're no longer suppressing it. That is your soul tribe. Those who deem to say they know all, that's not your soul tribe. It's the people that you feel connected to in your heart. And the more you play this energy game, you'll be like, oh, fuck. We got a soul contract. What's it going to look like, right? Whether that be the relationship villain, whether it be the partner that makes you deal with your childhood wounds, or the friend that makes you realize you're worth it all, or the coworker that makes you stand up for yourself. Like all of those pieces are part of your soul tribe because they were contracted to come down here and help you evolve. And sometimes those people are the one that's like, stop looking outside yourself. Look within. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where like those soul tribe people, it's me. I do this. It's me. Are the people that are like, you're going to fucking get fucked up right now. And it's hard because I want to look out for you. It's all good intent. But the amount of times I've said to people, hey, look, divine timing is divine timing, but they're knocking at your door. And every time you don't answer, they're just getting the power to knock a little harder. And soon that tsunami will come and you will get knocked the fuck over. And if that's what it takes for you to take this new step, to be open, to heal, whatever it is, and that's what you need is the tsunami wave, power to you. I am not going to force you. I will give you the heads up that it's coming though. I will be like, girl, they're giving you just take these little pieces, these little crumbs, as opposed to like the whole goddamn factory. But that's not my problem.
It happens to the best of us.
I feel like it happens to all of us many times.
Yeah, true.
Because that's what it is to be human, is to break out of the matrix, whether that be your internal programming, societal's programming, anything that you're going through, patterns from this lifetime or last lifetime or many lifetimes or all lifetimes, you're here to break rid of all of that and come to your sovereign, authentic self. And when we go to these spiritual leaders, when we go to these spiritual communities or religious communities that tell you you're not powerful, you're not capable of doing these things, they're either lying through their fucking teeth or have no idea what they're talking about.
Of course, I wanted to make a comment about the Catholic Church, but I will refrain, but also looking at you, Catholic Church.
Looking at every fucking church.
I'm just super resentful because the Catholic Church has the biggest library of astrology books, and I can't wait for...
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, and I really can't wait for Catholicism to crumble, and I pray to God it's in our lifetime. I mean, we've seen weed become legal. Anything's possible in this lifetime, right?
Anything's fucking possible.
Open the library doors, Pope.
Let us in. Let us in.
We want the truth.
Yeah, and that's what it is. They're harboring the truth because they don't want us to know how powerful we are. So anyone who tells you that they have more power than you is utterly incorrect. We all incarnate in this body with equal amounts of power.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to sift through the bullshit to access the power. And that can look like just getting out of that bad relationship, or it could look like some deep epigenetic work that you have to do from your lineage. All of us have a different recipe to go through, but none of us have more power than the other. We just work harder, not harder. We work more frequently to access it.
Mm-hmm.
And we carve out the
Mm-hmm.
tunnels to get there so the power can run freely. And only you know how to carve out because everyone is uniquely contracted down here. So for someone in a spiritual or religious community to say, well, you have to do this kind of prayer and you need to show up like this. And don't worry, don't get tattoos or don't fall in love in this way, or make sure you come these days a week to do this. Like, your trauma that you're facing or the things that you're leaving behind or the healing work you have to do to access your power is very different from the person sitting next to you in that church pew. So how the fuck are we supposed to be doing the same exact thing and get the same results?
And when it comes to the things that they tell us not to do, I think there are some really legitimate reasons why. Like, don't eat pork. They don't really go into great detail as to why it is to not eat pork. They're little disease carriers, and they're like literally like human souls in a animal body. So you sick fucks. Also, tattoos are portals. And if you aren't consciously getting ink and these portals put into your body, like it, I'm not going to go down that avenue, but I do your own research. And here's the other thing when it comes to seeking the truth, it's because the frequencies in which we've been given half the truth, it will expand our minds and our DNA in a way that will no longer allow us to be under the control of the powers that think they be. And I feel so strongly to say that the truth is going to be revealed to us, and the truth is actually going to be integrated into us so quickly and effortlessly that we aren't going to have to think or seek. It will just be, and it'll be more in the form of remembrance. And the reason why so many of these archetype gods and angels and whoever have made it through history as these still very significant figures like Jesus and Mary Magdalene, like, hello, their frequency was put on earth to help us expand and grow. And there's still so much potential and there's still so much left to lead us and expand us. And so the truth is there. We don't need the books in the Catholic Church after all.
And I think that leads me to think of like, well, what's the next phase? Because I look at things of even like yoga. right? Yoga is
Yeah.
not asana, which is the movement practice. Yoga
Yeah.
is the union of mind and body. It's coming into sovereignty. And when that medicine was brought to the West, they capitalized it. They made it a cult where, like, if you don't go every day to this power yoga, then, like, oh, people are going to judge you and excommunicate you from our little
Or you're
group.
not wearing Lululemon
Yeah.
and, like, you know, it's a fashion show.
Yeah. So for me, it makes me think of, like, where are we leading next? Because it's really hard because there are people who are just trying to bring the medicine, who are just trying to bring the tools. And there are other people who are capitalizing on that, whether it be for power or money. So what that looks like for me is that card, the Great Gathering, right? Finding spaces and community where you are with people who treat you equally. We have a sisterhood circle that we go to every month. And yes, Megan and I host or quote run the sisterhood circle, but that's only because I send out the email. That's it.
We're all the space holders.
Yes. And what I'm offering wouldn't be anything without everybody else there holding that space. So it's about finding community in whatever facet you're interested in that respects your authenticity and sets you as an equal. And I think when it looks the way that it can look when we start working with people in more a transactional way, going to healers, you want to look for people who are working for you, not for themselves. Yes, it's a business. We're both in the spiritual business. It makes it hard as a business owner to say, okay, well, I need money. How am I going to pay my bills? But not at the detriment of other people. That's not the fucking point. So it's about being able to weave different modalities together until you find your right recipe. Because I don't just use meditation or energy work or this or that. I use it all. A little bit of everything. And it brings me to, if you're cool with me sharing.
Yeah. And I do want to go back to what's next.
Yeah.
Because what I really see, the reason why yoga came to the West and why it was predominantly practiced by women is because there's this activation of the goddess energy that is very much in full swing. And I think more and more women are waking up and realizing and owning it. And I think the whole reason why the activation of the goddess is important at this time is because it is connecting us back to Gaia and understanding source energy and the source energy anchoring us between Earth and the cosmos, wherever else beyond this planet. So, activation of the goddess.
I love that.
Why we're here.
In any biological body.
Oh, hell yeah. The activation of the goddess in a man's body. You want to become the most desirable man ever? Start practicing the activation of the goddess. Ooh, maybe we should do a whole episode on that.
I really like that idea.
Yeah. Okay. Done. Boop. Okay, go on.
But I want to share a new service that I'm offering because I thought about this a lot and I was like, how do I make it equitable for everyone? Because I'm noticing that it's a lot of energy on my part to share all the work, all the energetic work, all the tools, guiding them through it, helping them understand what's coming through for them. So I want to make that reciprocal for me, but also the people who are interested and ready to do this work are the ones who have gone through some heavy trauma most of the time, which leaves them in not a great financial standpoint. I don't think I need to expand more on that. I think it's pretty obvious. So I came up with a new way that I'm going to be offering some things. Now, I'll still have my standalone services like my tarot readings, my intuitive readings, because I think sometimes when we are getting jumbled and earthly life gets a little too hard, we do need someone to be like, hey, can you just help me like decipher a little bit right here?
I like that you say it sounds like tarot readings.
Yeah. Tarot readings. But I don't think it's a bad thing to go and like ask for clarification or some guidance. That's not what we're saying. We're talking long term. If you're with someone who's always giving you answers as opposed to, hey, you're stuck. Let me help you clear that channel so I can give you some clear guidance. But there are people who are wanting to learn the tools or do deeper work that requires a little bit more time together, a little bit more energy on my part. So I'm basically doing a build your own program. I think I called it like co-creation or I don't know. Something
Love
like
that.
Something like that. You know, casual, no big deal. And what it looks like is a 30-minute consultation talking about where you are on your journey and what you're looking for, whether that be how to use these tools, connecting with your guides, shadow work, inner child work, energy healing, like whatever modality you're looking into. And then we'll discuss different facets of how that can look, what your timeline is looking like, and what your budget is, not mine. My other services are a sliding scale, but this has nothing to do with my sliding scale. So you tell me I'm willing to pay this much a session, and I create the program that is reciprocal for that.
And do you let the other person say, okay, that feels fair?
Yes.
Love.
We discuss it first, and if they're like, okay, no, I really am looking for more, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't give you more without any other exchange, whether that be money or services or whatever, then it's not the right time for us to work together. Because I do need it to be reciprocal on my part. I'm giving a lot, and it doesn't always need to be this high-end money, but I need to be able to really weigh out what's the energy for that energetic exchange of money. So I'll say, okay, this is the formula it'll look like. My sessions are always an hour, hands down, because you know how I could talk. People here, you know how I could talk. So if you're going to give me X amount of money, in this hour, we're going to do this. I'm going to give you homework. We'll check in on that homework when we come back. And I also do 30-minute weekly phone consultations at no extra charge. So if anything comes up, oh my God, I know we're not meeting for 2 weeks, but this thing just happened and I need to tell somebody. Great. You got 30 fucking minutes. I know it sounds rough.
No, I love this so much. And if you've ever been wanting to work with Tara, now's the perfect time. So I just want to put a plug in and say that Tara is as real as it gets. And it...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I mean, this bitch is connected.
Yeah. I can't lie. I really am. It's kind of hard not to be. It's kind of hard to keep my mouth shut in my regular ass life. But yeah, I want to offer that for not just myself in like a financial standpoint, but for people who are interested in doing the work and them not having to search for the right program and the right modality at the right price. Like that's it. I'm here. Big part of my regular day job is curriculum building. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And my ultimate goal, spiritual community, I'm talking to you, is to eventually create a council of people with really strong gifts and different modalities that can offer the same. And we can all come in. Now that might look a little different to make sure that we're all getting reciprocal energetic feedback, but let's say it was the two of us running different kinds of energy and maybe 2 other people, and we were all in consultation. And you may not work with all of us, but based on what you're asking for, you'd get the right practitioners to fit what it is you are on your journey right now. And there could be a reassessment a month down the line. Okay, we've worked on this. I'm ready to kind of shift into more tantric work or inner child work. So that's the future I see, is weaving of medicine, and not saying that I know it all, because I don't. So requiring the help of my community to step up and offer it for those to say, okay, well, if you're doing shadow work, that may look like me, that may look like tantric work, and that may look like grief work. So the 3 of us are going to come up with a program that fits you. And I think that's how we're going to amplify and kind of speed up this process for everyone to kind of hook back in and be able to run, because I'm not leading you every step of the way. I'm giving you the tools and giving you the homework and saying, go, learn, practice, come back to me. Let's assess, let's re-anchor in. And I think that's, in whatever way you're looking for a community, that's the type of people you want to be around. My favorite thing to tell kids is, when movies are being made, the rating for movies or the awards for movies don't come from the public. They come from the critics, right? People who are knowledgeable. So your spirit gathering or your gathering group or community should be those critics that want you to succeed, not the judgment group that is there to just give judgment. Because you may get some harsh, like, wake up calls from that spiritual community or that group of people, but it should be in a way that they want to see you succeed, not take your power, not control you, not take your money.
Hallelujah. So if you're interested in booking with Tara, check the link below. Real quick, I want to address a question I got, well, actually from a few folks. I had shared what I did over the weekend with a few coworkers, and they're like, sisterhood circle, that sounds so cool. Like, what does that consist of? What do you do? And just in case you want some inspiration and you feel called, whether it's 2 or 10 of you in your community, what we do is we gather, we each bring snacks, and we'll gather on the table for like the first 30 minutes or so and just anchor into our bodies. And, some people just bring like the best snacks ever.
My God. Like when you brought those hippie chickpea puffs the other day.
Oh my God.
I was like,
I know, we both ate like the family size bag of it.
So good.
But then Megan always like makes the best baked goods. Anyway, so we, share snacks, and then we move into, from the kitchen to the living room, and we gather in circle, and each person has however long they feel to share whatever's going in their life, from career, relationship, spiritual growth, challenges. It can be anything you feel like sharing. And we all hold space. And it's such a great way to practice holding space and listening to listen and not to respond. And I think when you understand how to do that, you're able to give channeled messages in response. You're not giving it from your own perspective of experience. And that makes such a difference, because we've all been talking to that person that you share something very personal and then they come back with, well, I did it. And it's like, that's not, I more so just wanted to be heard. And you can even say at the end of your sharing, like, I don't want to hear, like, I don't want advice. I don't want counsel. I just wanted to be heard. Or you can say, give me what you got and see what comes through.
Or being on the other end of that, just asking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
the amount of times we just turn and we say, can I share what came through for me while you were talking?
Consent.
And I think the key thing there is that there is no time constraint. There is no necessarily structure. It's just allowing you to flow authentically. And there have been times where women sit there and go, I don't want to share today. And we go, okay, thank you for being here to hold space. And we have had sisterhood circles where it is more organized and there's like a theme.
Yeah.
And I find that those are beautiful, but should be separate.
Because it requires someone being a teacher, leader.
Yes.
Right. And that role is not part of the circle context. So
yes. So even if it's just with your 2 best friends, start setting, and we do it monthly, start setting a gathering, your soul tribe, to just hold space for one another intentionally. Because we all talk bullshit and sit around and like smoke or drink or eat. And we're just like, oh, and this happened and this happened. But instead of it being a conversation, like Victoria said, practice holding that space. And one of the women at Sisterhood Circle had this little shaker egg, and she started doing this. And this was really helpful to not only change the energy, but give the room acknowledgement that you're ready to move on. Because sometimes we think we're done talking and we let the emotions kind of process and rise, and then we have more to say. So what we do is we have a little shaker egg, and when the person is done, they can shake the egg and pass it on, or they may say, okay, shake that egg, if someone else is holding it. And that way you don't feel pressured to have to be done now that you've paused for 30 seconds. You didn't shift the energy. You didn't change that. That's what we want to see with spiritual communities, is we want everyone to be at an equal standpoint. We want everyone to be able to have everyone hold space for you. Imagine, I just thought about this. You're at church. I'm in church. You're at church, and there's the guy, the priest or whatever, right? Priest?
Yeah.
Okay.
The sermon?
Yeah.
Or wait. Is that, or the preacher?
Okay. that guy is standing. Guy. Let that be known. It's mostly a guy. Well,
Actually,
I don't know.
last time I went to church, I was in Portland, and it was a woman, and it was like a very like LBG whatever. Like I know, I'm hungry. I need some nuts. I'm hungry.
I was just gonna say we've been talking a lot about food. I think we need a little snack.
I know.
I'm gonna need a snack.
But yeah, there are some she's out there. So shout out to the she's.
Okay.
Yeah.
But think about how everyone pauses and just listens. Right? They're just listening to them speak, whether it be from the Bible or the whatever or their experience. I don't know. I don't know anything about church. But they're talking up there and everybody is sitting quietly listening until they're supposed to say that thing that they say, right? Whatever. Peace be with you or something. Right? So like it's just like that, but everyone gets a turn at the podium. You're not all just sitting quietly, bored as fuck. I remember I went to church when I was little. I was so bored.
Yeah.
I was so bored that I will never fucking forget this. I had a pink, like plasticky wallet that had polka dots on it. I was so fucking bored. And I didn't play video games or play pretend with like toys. I needed other human interaction. But I was so goddamn bored that I pretended that my wallet was a Game Boy and pressed the polka dots like buttons.
Yikes.
But anyway, everyone gets to be at that podium. So if you're surrounded in a spiritual or a religious community where you don't feel like you're respected enough to have space like that, I mean, power to everybody, choose your own path. But personally, I would not want to be a part of that group, to not have my voice as valued as the person at the podium. That's not where I'm at right now. And no judgment to those who are in a religion or spiritual community where it is more structured like that and you feel home and you feel heard and you feel valued. Beautiful.
Yeah, God is great. God is good. Do whatever you got to do to connect to source.
Yeah. But I hope that one day you come to the understanding that you're just as important. You are just as powerful. You deserve just as much respect. You have just as much answers if they do, if not more, because they're blinded by the structures that they've created.
Woo, get the shaker egg out now. So long story short, if you want to join the Frequency Broads cult, like,
Yes.
share, subscribe, prescribe, whatever.
So we're saying don't go to cults except for the Frequency Broads cult?
Just give us a like, whatever.
Because honestly, I don't know. I've been told my whole life that I can run a good cult, and I know I could.
But you can, but think about there's always good intent at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And then it turns, and then it
ego.
always, that power. You got the power.
Okay, well, goodbye, y'all. Why do I feel like lately we've just been ending it? We're like, and you know the other thing, bye. See you next week. Love you. Don't
Love
get in
you.
a cult unless it's for Frequency Broads or my own personal one. Okay, bye. Love you.